edit it.
You're going to go live with yours?
Mm-hmm. You know we can do our Facebooks too and stuff.
Yeah, I just don't go live on Facebook. All right, we are live. This is going to be fun.
All right, sending the link to Instagram.
Oh, no.
Totally forgot to do that.
Wait, can I edit destination? I'll take that one off.
Forgive us, y'all. We're getting it together.
This was a whole process, y'all.
Yes.
Okay. We're going to give people time to come in anyway.
Love it. Hi.
Okay, cool. Hey.
Oh.
I can't. Oh, man. It's so hot here, y'all. Feels like summertime.
Well, it was like 60 degrees today over here.
Really?
It could have been warmer, though.
Global
It could have
warming's
been California.
Yeah, it's 80 here. Very hot.
All right. Chat box. Hi. Wait, who's cute couple? Paired.
Let me see if they're on.
It says paired.
That means it came from someone else's platform.
Oh, it came from one of you guys. Oh, I love this.
You guys, let us know if you hear us double. We're trying something new out.
Yeah, let us know if you hear double voices, please.
If so, I'll probably just end my stream and I'll just download the video from your platform.
80 where? I'm trying to move somewhere warm. She's in... Oh,
LA.
That's for you. Yep.
Yeah, it's 80 in LA right now. It's very hot. Very hot here.
Oh, nice. We have 3 people watching.
Hi, Alejandro. Oh, they're from you. And then just mute so that they don't hear it. I love this. Okay, look at that. Look at that. Let's see what I have.
No double voices. Awesome.
Yes.
Okay.
Yay. Hi, Naya or Nia. I always get scared that I'm going to pronounce someone's name wrong. This is fun. All right, did you guys send it out on Instagram?
I just did that.
Please subscribe to the podcast channel. Let's jazz it up. Let's. What?
You can bring her in if she'll be good. If she's not, leave her out there.
Sorry, guys. We have a dog.
Y'all are in the pregame.
Oh my God. Is it streaming on Let's? Okay, it is streaming on Let's Talk It Up. So this is the podcast, you guys. I'm streaming on my channel so that you guys know that we have a podcast. And I'm going to put the podcast link in my comments so that you guys can go subscribe there, because pretty soon we will only be streaming on the podcast channel, which is Let's Talk It Up. Oh my God. We're at almost at my February goal.
What is it, 50?
50.
Thank you guys for subscribing to our new channel.
Yeah.
F it up.
Copy. All right. So we're going to be only going live up there eventually. So here is the podcast link and pin the message. So just click on it and subscribe. I'm so excited. We're going to eventually be doing just our voices too, so that if you guys missed the live, you can just go on all platforms, Spotify, all of that, to listen, and you don't have to watch. Yay, Carter. Yay. I'm so excited. All right, guys. So I have 19 people on mine. Nija.
I have 6.
And Tiff.
No clue.
All right, guys. So the point of this podcast, number 1, I'm sorry that we're late. And number 2, I'm sorry we didn't upload for a while. We were just busy moving Tiffany to California.
We just got back. We're from the West Coast.
Yeah.
We did our road trip. We were vlogging. Mm-hmm. There's lots of content to show you guys.
Yeah. And then we were just having fun too. So we just didn't find time to podcast because we were like, we want to go all over LA. So Tiff, how's LA?
It's very hot. Like I said, it's 80. Things are busy. Traffic's terrible, but it's beautiful. I can't wait to get out. Like I haven't been anywhere really in the last week or so. So I'm like, I'm ready to get out and just have a good time. But COVID is still alive. So just, but I still want to see things, and so I plan to do some stuff this weekend. But
That's
at the
almost like
same
the problem. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just thinking that was a Super Bowl weekend, so I won't be doing that much, but because it's going to be packed here because the Super Bowl's here this year. But
Nice.
That's
yeah,
almost the problem with being a person that works online is that you don't leave your house.
Yeah.
literally,
Mm-hmm.
literally.
There's like almost no sociability when you're an
Yeah, you got to make
online like
it.
worker.
Yeah,
You have
you
to
have to
force
make it.
yourself.
So let's get this podcast episode jumping.
Okay,
Today,
guys.
we're talking about the different paths to entrepreneurship. So we all kind of have our different ways of coming to become entrepreneurs. We're going to share with you guys everyone's different path. Everyone's going to share their story. And yeah, who wants to start?
Okay, guys. So as you know, if you follow my journey on YouTube, I lost my job, and that is how I became a true 100% entrepreneur. Nija.
Wait, tell your story. We'll all do
Oh,
our own
wait.
story.
I'm gonna give you guys the quick rundown of why this is the video that we're making today.
Okay.
Nija has never really worked a traditional job, and that is how she became an entrepreneur. And Tiffany has always worked a 9 to 5 and did alongside her entrepreneur goal until she could make it full time. So that is why we named this The Paths to Entrepreneurship. And we are going to talk about our stories once we get little Chow Chow out of here.
Yes.
So I'm going to tell Tiffany go first while we put her little Chow Chow dog in the back room.
I'm waiting. Okay, hey everybody. So I'm Tiffany. For those that don't know, right now I work 2 jobs. One, my 9 to 5 is at Nickelodeon. I'm a social media producer, and then I freelance with BuzzFeed, um, doing video production. Like I'm a video producer, editor, and hopefully soon directing and some talent. But yeah, my path, for the most part, I've always had a job. Like I've had at least 5 jobs at a time sometimes. And it wasn't because like, oh, I really, really needed it. It was just because I decided the way I was going to, I guess, be an entrepreneur or do my own thing was to have my 9 to 5 funded. So basically, I would use my 9 to 5 money to invest into myself. And that was my plan. That was always a plan for me, to do it that way. And I think a lot of people, get in this mindset like, oh, I need to quit my 9 to 5, which is fine when you're ready to do that. But I think if you're there and you need it, I think the best thing for you to do, like what I'm doing, is that you use that to fund your stuff. But obviously, there's the pros and cons of doing that. Like, of course, it's like, oh, stability, like, you know what I mean? But then for that stability, you're kind of giving up freedom of time, as is what I would say a lot of times. Freedom of time, freedom of energy, because if you're not like super motivated, which I am a very motivated person, like self-motivated, I think it'll be really difficult for you to have a 9 to 5 and then come home and try to work on your own stuff. I'm not gonna act like it's the best way to do it, or obviously it's not the only way to do it, but it is one of those things. It's very hard to have a 9 to 5 and then come home and work on your own stuff. It truly is. I would not tell you that it's easy, because it's not. Because if it was, then a lot of people would do it. But yeah, that's pretty much my story with that. And I'm obviously not 100% an entrepreneur in the sense of like, I do still work a 9 to 5, but I am still in that process of using it to get with the goal of 100% entrepreneurship, whenever that is. But even so, even when I transition from a 9 to 5, I'm sure I'll still be doing contract work with companies because they pay well. And yeah, I can still do that in addition to what I do.
And I love how, Tiffany, you always say you use your job to fund your entrepreneurial endeavors. So like you being an employee is like what did you call it? Like the sugar daddy or like the sponsor?
Oh,
Like it supports the dream.
it does. It really does. And I just think a lot of people don't think of it that way. Like sometimes you go into a, like, I think a lot of times with people with 9 to 5s, they're like, this job, they're sucking everything out of me. And really it is. And they're kind of like, what can I get out of you? But you need to be thinking, what can you get out of them?
Mhm.
And I think that's the best way to approach that. And even with the job you have, I know a lot of people will go and get a 9 to 5 that has nothing to do with anything. And it's
Mhm.
kind of like, I just think if you're gonna get a 9 to 5, it should be something that's gonna help you with what you're doing. Because then it's not like you're just there for no reason. Like, I
Mhm.
mean, I'm not gonna say you're not there, you're there for no reason, but it's like it would be more beneficial to you if the 9 to 5 was something that could help you other, not just monetarily, but like even just helping you like marketing or produce
Skills.
anything. Yeah, a skill.
Mhm.
That would be great. But obviously the monetary, thing, that's number one. But then it would even be more beneficial if you're at a place where the skills and the monetary value is there. So
That's
yeah,
perfect. That's what I tell all my students is don't be so hasty to quit because your 9 to 5 that you already have that's giving you benefits, it can be used to fund your entrepreneurship.
yeah,
Like you're just in my opinion, I was like you're leaving your job just to redo the stress level of trying to find money by yourself with the entrepreneurship.
yeah,
So I always stand by that. My story is that I was fired. I didn't have no choice.
true.
So do you want me to do mine first or then
Yeah, go
okay.
ahead, get into it.
So you guys know if you watch my channel, I was fired from the job that I thought I was going to do 9 to 5. I was going to work my way up into corporate and first become a manager, then do corporate and stuff. And I just realized that I didn't want to do that anymore. Not particularly not work anymore. It was more of do I want to do it here? And when my brain shifts to not being 100% about something, I become bad at it. I became a laxed employee. And then I got fired, which was okay with me because then it forced me into becoming an entrepreneur. My mind just started turning with how can I make more money quicker?
Mm,
Um, However may that be, but working from home. I wanted to work from home. So I started applying to being a substitute teacher, an online teacher, and this is all contractor work. So, and I still consider that working for yourself because I got to, maybe I had to put a colored shirt on, like a specific colored shirt on, but I got to sit down and wake up anytime I wanted to make money. And then from there, I got off at 12, sometimes 1 o'clock in the afternoon, take a 30-minute nap, and then I was like, okay, what's next? Let's add on. I have all of this time to curate myself. So I just started tacking on other side hustles. And I tell people, especially if you're in your 20s, try everything. Tack on everything at once. Any side hustle that you want to think of, do it all at the same time. And then you start letting the other ones fall by the wayside that aren't making any money, that you don't actually really like. And then you start focusing on the ones that do make all the money and that you do somewhat like. And then you just keep climbing and climbing, save all of that money for your end goal. And my end goal was real estate. It had always been real estate. Tiny houses was my interest. And I just kept fueling that fire with what else can I do? And it just set me to where I was now. So, my opinion is do everything at once. So many people are like, well, I just want to focus on this one thing, but they have all these other ideas that they want to do. You don't want to be in your 30s or 40s just beginning when, like a year ago, you could have probably already reached your goal. So, I follow on that where I was forced, but in that force, I was anything you thought of. Anything I
Mm.
thought of, I was like, I could do that. And I did. So then Nija has a different story from all of us.
Yeah, so and let me know if you guys can hear me. I took out my headphones so I wouldn't hear the
hmm
playback, but so I would call myself, and the way I came to entrepreneurship was very irresponsible, okay? I'll be the first to admit it. All right?
Oh
Do as I
goodness.
say, not as I do. But if you are a manifester, and this everyone manifests in their own way, but I will say it was irresponsible how I came to entrepreneurship because I'm the type of person where my energy is everything. Right. So I was working in the fast food industry. I was in college, and I was making YouTube videos. But I came a point. I'm really good at quitting jobs. I love to quit. I love a reason to quit. I want somebody to give me a reason to quit, talk me crazy. I'm going to quit. Okay. As soon as it's my first week, I already have my resignation letter written up, ready to go. I love to quit. I don't like to work for other people. I don't want to do that. Right. And so, I just kind of got fed up. And I was like, I'm just going to try and work for myself. Right. And I'm the type of person where if I light a fire under my butt, that is when I see myself perform the best. And because I knew this about myself, I said, okay, well, if I have no other choice but to make it, I'm going to have to make it, right? Like I cut the parachute off and I'm jumping out the airplane. I'm like, bitch, fly. Are we allowed to curse?
Yeah.
Bitch, fly. So, quit my job. And I actually have a video about this on my platform. I have a video called I Quit My Job. I didn't have a backup plan, didn't have savings, didn't have anything. I had an apartment and I had a puppy. And I knew I had bills that were due. I had car payments that were due. But in my head, I'm like, if I put myself under a special type of stress and force myself to figure it out, again, this is not going to work for everybody. Some people will have $0 in their bank account and be like, oh my God, I'm going to die, right? But for me, it did something for me. It made me want to perform. So it was an accident, actually, how I started making money through entrepreneurship. And I want us all to tell how we make money online now, if you want to do that. But how I did it is I got to double down on making YouTube videos because I was no longer in this job. Remember, I was never in the workforce. I never had a career, never had I was working retail and I was working in the food industry. I worked at PF Chang's, right? So I wasn't really walking away from anything crazy. But again, I forced myself to be like, okay, bitch, produce, do something, right? And I didn't have like a rich family to support me. I wasn't receiving money from other people. Like I really lit a fire under my butt and was like, okay, you got to figure this out. So long story short, how I started making money online is through doubling down on making YouTube videos. I actually got my first client. Her name is Abby. Love her so much. Love you, Abby. We just saw her in California, actually. She emailed me and asked me if I offered coaching sessions. And never had I thought in my head, oh, I'm going to be a coach, right? But because somebody had asked me, do you offer this? I'm like, yes, I can do this. I can do this. I can figure this out. I can package this. I can figure this out. And so long story short, I took her on as my first client, loved it so much, loved coaching, loved to be able to interact with people one-on-one. And I saw myself being able to do this. So my path to entrepreneurship came from people seeing the light in me and then me saying, okay, well, if they see this as something that I'm valuable at, maybe I should be doing this. And then I turned it into a service, started doing the service, looking for other ways and other opportunities I can make money online. It definitely helps to have other friends who are entrepreneurs and making money online, because everybody in my life told me that I'm crazy. Everybody in my life told me, like, I had a boyfriend, his family was like, why does Nija not have a job? Why does she stay home all day? What is she doing? Like, are you supporting her? What's going on? Got a lot of shit thrown my way. People like saying like, you're being lazy. What are you doing? You know what I mean? And you know what I did? I just worked on my website. I said, okay, I'm gonna record another video. Okay, I'm gonna work on my website. Okay, I'm gonna make an ebook, right? So that is my story. Again, very slow climb to the top. What I say, I make it. No, I still struggle. But again, my way of coming to entrepreneurship was through manifesting it. I manifest money. I manifest my business. I manifest clients. So not traditional. Again, doesn't work for everybody. Some people under stress, they crack. For certain people under stress, they perform. So
yes, great
so
point.
I have two opinions on this. So there are two things that I love to say, and she probably knows that I say it. Is number one, Nija's lifestyle sends me into fight or flight.
It's very scary.
And I want to fight for her. It is so scary.
Yeah.
But in a few days ago, I was thinking about, because I'm losing a lot of money going into my next investment. I'm broke. So
don't say that.
And I don't want to manifest,
you're not.
but I also want to like tell the truth.
Yeah.
That is happening.
Your money's low.
My money is low. But I was on
coming.
It's coming. We're manifesting it.
Yeah, let's
I was
hear that.
on my couch like 2 days ago or something, and I thought about Nija, and I was like, if she can do it, I can do it. I was literally like, if she can manifest this, I can manifest this. So, you know, it sends me into fight or flight, but then I see what she does and how she does get the money. And I'm like, but it comes.
I feel like my angels, guides, and helpers are like, please just throw her a bone. Like, don't let her suffer. Just please, somebody, send her some money. Somebody, anybody, and it just comes.
It does. It does. So I was like, even though it sends me into fight or flight, and I always say, "Oh, Nija, like you get a job over here." She was like, "I don't want a job." Oh no, not
Tiffany.
Tiffany. Tiffany left. She's back though.
Okay.
I'm back. I don't know what happened.
And then the second thing I want to add is that from, you know, we judge as humans, we judge. You're a liar if you don't judge. I also have to remind myself when I see these videos of people who are like, oh, I quit my job, and I don't have money, to get myself out of my judgmental mind. Because when I talk to people, it's like, oh, she's got this. But when you're like, when you don't know them, you want to judge them, right? Like, oh, I would never do that.
Yep.
I have to tell myself grace, because you can always get another job.
Yes.
They can always go back into the workforce. You can always go back to school. So I always try to practice that in my mind. Like, it's okay, Jazz. Because, you know, I want to fight for people because that's my personality, where I'm like, you can do this, 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 and this, and this.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, well, I don't want to do that. And I'm like, you can always get another job. You can always get another job. She'll be fine. So yeah, you know, of course, like you want to see your friends and other people do what you do because you know it works and stuff. But I also love that me thinking like, if Nija can do it, I can do it. So we all have completely different stories, which I thought was a great podcast episode. So my first question because Nija wrote down some questions, but my first question for each individual girl is going to be for Tiffany first. What is your tip for someone who is going to take your route, where they work a 9 to 5 in the morning and then at night they work on their craft?
Yeah. I think if you're, like I said before, if you're going to work a 9 to 5 and then try to transition into entrepreneurship in whatever way, do it at the same time is really what you're doing. You just have to be motivated. I think you have to set a goal, have many goals, like little breakdowns to get to the big goal. But I think just being consistent about it, because I think the one thing about having a 9 to 5, there's a couple of ways that you could get distracted. One, you're like, oh, this is consistent. And you could fall into the settling thing, which I feel like a lot of people do. Or you could just be like, all right, I'm what? Oh, yeah, I know that. It actually distracted me. I was like, what am I about to say? I totally forgot what I was going to say for a second. Or you could just be completely, well, hold on. Okay. My question was, one more time.
Funny comment.
Yeah, it completely threw me off guard. But okay, basically you can be like, oh, I'm like, this is fine. This is all I need for my whole life. I'm gonna live here, die here at the 9 to 5. So I think, or you can just fall off and just become like, oh, I don't feel like doing this today. Oh, I'm not seeing results right now, so I'm just not gonna do it anymore. And I think that happens to a lot of people. And then another thing that happens is just starting. I think a thing I see with a lot of people with 9 to 5s, when it comes to doing their own thing, is they are so scared to start, and they do all this research and then it's like they never start. And it's very strange, and it's kind of one of those things like you just have to really be like, I can do this. This is the goal. And like I said, breaking it down so you can be like, this isn't so scary if I'm looking at it like steps rather than a whole like staircase. So that's definitely what I would tell someone. And then I think just being grateful in your 9 to 5 and figuring out what things you can get from it. Because in my past jobs that I've had, a lot of past ones, I think what I took from most of them was networking, was using my resources, using their resources, and just learning all that I could. And then like some places you go, they'll like give you trainings for certain things. So I think it's just when you're at a 9 to 5, you really need to figure out what is it that I can take from this that'll help me with in multiple ways, whether that's like with your portfolio, your resume, or just like funding and funneling your money. And I think that's the thing too with a 9 to 5. You just have to put away money for that 9 to 5. That needs to be something you're putting money into, because I think another thing people don't do is put money into it. And I think you have to, like, and I don't mean like you could have a whole separate account for it, like, because it is a business, But I think just having money to buy equipment and things like that, like you do have to put some money into it. And I think you should be doing that with your 9 to 5 as well. So that's what I would say. And I was gonna say, because Jasmine touched on this a little earlier, I agree. Like you should be starting this. You can start this at any age, like 20s. That'd be really great because I think that's before a lot of people start really wanting to settle down and have a family and do all those things. But I do feel like you can still do these things in your 30s and potentially in your 40s. But I think starting now is what's important and being consistent.
Time is your best friend, or it
So
could be your enemy. So whenever you think the thought, just do it, no
yeah,
matter
just
how
do
old
it.
you think you are. Because I don't know, what did they say about Vera Wang? She didn't start becoming like that popular until she was like
Yeah,
older and stuff like that.
older.
Start anytime. Okay, so Nija, there's this
Yeah,
big
never too
movement
late.
on YouTube where people are quitting their jobs, the big resignation thing.
Yeah.
So what is your tip? Because there's people out there like you.
Mm-hmm.
What are your tips for someone who is like, you know what, I'm just gonna quit? What are your tips for them?
Sure. That's a good question.
Okay. First of all, I know I get a lot of eye rolls because people are like, you can't just quit. Like, you have mortgage, I have kids to pay. That's not going to work for, like, I get it. I get it. And I did prepare so if you're going to do how I did it, which again, I don't recommend it for everybody, but you have to know yourself. You have to know, do you work well under pressure? Entrepreneurship is all about performing under pressure. There is no certainty. So first and foremost, you have to be okay with that. The advice I would give, if you can, and I know everyone would say this, start saving up for your resignation. Like, I didn't save up very much, but what I did save gave me a little bit of comfortability, at least for 2 to 3 months. I wasn't like stressed. I knew I was going to be okay for that. So my first tip would be just save up for this lifestyle. The next thing I would do, or the next thing I would say, is you have to know how you offer value, because entrepreneurship is all about exchanging the value that you have to offer in exchange for money. So if
Yes.
you don't know how you offer value, if you have no clue how to help people, if you have no idea what people need you for, this is going to be very hard for you. And again, me free falling into entrepreneurship, I didn't know what my value was. I didn't know, what service, gifts, or talent to offer the world. I didn't know. It took other people saying, Nija, I see this in you. Can you do this for me? So, like, do both. Know how you offer value. Maybe you're a talented video editor. Maybe you're a talented writer. Maybe you're a great virtualist. Like, find out how you offer value, because you will never make money on your own. If you, like, even in the job that you have right now, what are you doing that is providing value to the company, right?
Right.
So that is
Exactly.
how you start, knowing how you offer value. Also, you need to be very creative. You can't be pessimistic. If you tell yourself that this is not going to work out and I have no idea what I'm doing, you're right, right?
Yep.
So,
Yep.
like, if you tell yourself, I'm going to figure this out, and it might be, a little turbulent away to the top, but I'm going to figure this out, you're right. So, your mindset is absolutely 100% everything in this journey of entrepreneurship. You have to trust yourself,
Mm.
because everything you do is on you. Whether you make the sale or not is on you. Whether you make the calls or not is on you. Whether you
Yep.
create the landing page on your web, like, it's all you. And you can hire other people to help you along the way. But I think people like 9 to 5 jobs because there's comfort in knowing that if I mess up, it's not coming down on me. It's coming down on the company.
Mhm.
It's coming down on the boss, right? There's comfort in knowing that you don't have to do everything by yourself. In entrepreneurship, until you have a team, you're doing
Yep.
everything, especially if you're into
Facts.
content creation. You're recording the content, you're putting it out, you're networking with people. Like, you have to do everything. It's a lot, right? Not to deter anybody from doing it, but again, you have to know yourself. You need to mentally prepare yourself and prepare your mindset before you try to do
Mhm.
anything. Obviously, save some money. know how you offer value. If you can determine how you offer value, you can become of service like yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my biggest tip. Know how you offer value. And if you can, save so that
Yes.
you don't feel stressed when you quit your job. Because I'm all for quitting. I want everybody to quit their job if they want to. You get to quit. You like. I'm just like. I'm so bad. If any of my friends were like, oh, I don't want to go to work today, I'm like, you should just quit. You want me to call them for you? I can pretend to be. You want to quit? It's today the day. Like, because I just believe that we're all meant to be free and living the life of our dreams. So that's my advice.
Okay, so my advice for someone who wants to do it, and of course don't get fired, but people who want to see what I do, where I do multiple streams of income. If you see my video, I have 10 streams of income, and I might be doing 11. I always have my brain turning, maybe 12.
Look, that's a tip as an entrepreneur. You got to have multiple streams.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
So if you want to do, my tips is just like everybody said, where do you offer value? I want you to sit down and write out how many skills did you learn from previous jobs? What can you do?
Yeah.
What do you like to do? And then I want you to put a little Charlotte's Web. I don't know if you guys remember in elementary school, the little brainstorm webs where you had the big circle and then you had the spider webs going out with the circles next to it. Each one of those skills that you have, you're going to write out, how can I monetize this? Yeah. So let's say your skill is exercising. I don't know. You got a great body. And I'm just doing this because Tiffany's fiance. I'm looking at her. So Tiffany's fiance is, he has a great body. He loves to work out. So I love to work out. I want to make money from working out. So your little lines or your little bulletin point should say, I can sell a workout book. I can make an app for workout. I can do online vids for workout. I can become a personal trainer. I can work at a gym as a contracting trainer. I can go into people's houses and do their, private training and stuff like that. I could do social media and start booking celebrities if I go out to LA and start going around those people who do it. So, and then if you have another bulletin point with, I know Excel, or I know how to make resumes, then you can say, okay, I can go on Fiverr and I can tell people I'll edit their resumes. I'll make resumes. I'll proofread their resumes. I can type really, really fast. So maybe I can type, I did this. I paid someone to write my essays in college.
But she made it.
Lord.
I paid a guy $1,000 to do all of my work for the semester.
Oh,
well, it wasn't essays. It was actually accounting. I failed accounting 3 times and I paid.
You're like,
I
I'm
don't
not taking no
care. I got my degree. You can't take it away from me.
Yeah, thanks.
This person was like, I'm good at accounting. So he just offered accounting work. And I was like, hey, can you do my accounting homework? And he was like, yes. And he made $1,000 off of me that semester.
Wow,
whatever you are good at, you write down all the ways you can think to make money off of it. Brainstorm with your friends because 2 brains are better than one.
Yes, let your friends tell you what you're good at, because sometimes something that's come so innate to you, you wouldn't even know that this is a talent of yours. Your friends are like, you're really good at that.
Exactly. Or you can go on YouTube. This is why I started the series on my YouTube channel about 5 streams of income that you can make. And I do a whole series of that and just think of all the other ways that people have talked about. And if it sounds interesting, just do it. Rent your car on Turo, rent your apartment room out. Babysit kids, babysit dogs, make food. If you're a chef, make food. Anything that you've heard someone say that they can make money from, you start and you sound interested in it, just try. And then you see what happens from there. But it does take consistency. You can't expect to have 10 customers in one day or a week when you just start. It takes time. It takes you talking to people. It takes you going to pop-up shops, talking to your church friends. Church friends love food. Sell some food over there.
They do.
Exactly. So, there are so many ways. Cut some grass. Yes. So I'm that type of person where I'm like, I'm going to do anything and everything, save that money up, and it's going to go into what I actually want to do. That's my tip.
Love that. Oh, that was so good.
Yeah. So I guess I want to know in the comment box, whose journey would you try, or whose journey do you think you sound more like? Like, what are you going through right now? All right. So we have some questions written down by Ms. Nija.
Yes. Okay. So I didn't write this down, but I wanna ask my girlfriends, how did you make your first money? Like as an entrepreneur, like
Mm.
what's the first way that you made money not working a 9 to 5? Hi, Yoda.
I'll take this one
Okay.
Okay.
because my entrepreneurship actually started when I was like 8.
Mm.
I was always the hustler mindset.
Oh
And that's what I
Lord.
tell today. And that's probably why I am the way I am now. At 8 years old, I would bargain with my mom. Mom, I'll clean the top section of your room, or I'll clean the second floor for $40. And she'd be like, I'll give you 40 if you do top and bottom. Deal. Add another extra 20 in to clean your car. I'll give you 15. Deal.
Whoa.
I'll do 15 for the flower bed as well. So I'll do chores all day so that I could get some money to go to the mall. I was always that person. I made bracelets and I went around and rung the doorbell of everybody in my neighborhood to make some money. And because you're a kid, especially when you're under 18, people really want to give you money.
Yeah,
Um,
they do.
Hustler,
I was
baby.
always a hustler, always a hustler. My parents really instilled that in me by accident, I think. I always wanted Barbies when I was younger. So they were like, they gave me money for good grades. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna study hard. This is $20 for an A.
I'm
And one
weak.
year it went up to $25. I could never get an A though. I think I got an A once, but I did strive for it.
But so,
Um,
Jazz, what's the first way you made money online though in your
Oh,
business?
as
You
an
online.
made
older
money
person,
online.
or
As an
like when I
older
was still in high
person.
school.
Any way that you made money online.
Online.
When I was in high school, I would go to the mall and I would get popular jewelry. So, when things are popular, and I would get it on clearance and I would put it on eBay for 10 to 15 to $20 more.
Nice.
And
What the
Wow.
retail espionage? Is that what they call that?
I mean, eBay reseller.
Right, a
This
reseller.
reselling.
Yeah.
Love
That's
that.
nice.
And I was making good money, but I was a child, so I was like, "Oh, this is fun and stuff." But I'm gonna go hang out with my friends.
Yes.
Now, not contractor work because I make money as an online YouTube would be my first type of check where I was like, playing around, and I did it long enough and I got money.
Nice.
Out of YouTube because, that's just set up a camera. Me
Mhm.
actually working vending machines. I started a vending machine company, placed my first one, and it was history from there. I got even more addicted from that 8-year-old child. So what about you, Tiff?
Tiff, how did you
Oh my
make your
God,
money?
that story. Well, if we're going all the way back then, the first thing I did, not online, when I was in elementary school, I used to sell drawings to my classmates, like my artwork. Yeah.
Wow.
I used to draw and I'd be like, all right, this is a quarter, this is 50 cents. And they would buy it. So that was my first thing at elementary school. But online, um, I first started making money online kind of like affiliate marketing, just like using links in my blog and on YouTube videos, which is crazy because I'm still not even monetized on YouTube. I don't haven't hit the qualifications. So though so affiliate marketing, and then my first good check from online work was actually from YouTube, like, but not in the way you would think. YouTube, one of their producers reached out to me and wanted to use some of my footage. Basically like using my footage like as stock footage in one of their videos.
So
So
cool.
that was the first time I actually got paid for something online. And it was, yeah, basically stock footage. Like they bought my footage from me to use in videos.
How much?
So, which is a really cool way that's another way you can make money. And I really need to look into that more because it's not something I normally make money off of now,
How much?
actually. It was $300.
What?
So, and it was
Girl.
only like 7 seconds, and they used some stock footage for one of their videos. The YouTube did. So, and that's a really
Jealous.
cool way to make some money. Yeah, but that's like the first ways.
Uh,
For me, the first ways.
Tiff, one of the girls in the comments said she makes money from notaries, loan signing
Oh,
agent, makeup
nice.
artist, and fake foot pics.
Fake foot pic. Oh my God,
I
I
need
love
to know
that.
that hustle because my feet ain't pretty. So
The
I could
fake
definitely get some
foot
stock
pic.
image of
So she
of
used.
feet.
I would say she probably uses somebody else's feet. That's so funny.
Ooh. It's a bow. Wait. I think she's talking about your hat, Tiff. She says your
Oh,
hat.
thank
She
you.
likes your hat.
That
Oh,
is
okay.
so funny.
Okay, so I gotta take my thing off so I can hear
Oh yeah,
myself.
nice. Yeah.
Okay, so when I was younger, I grew up seeing my mom be an entrepreneur. So she had an
Nice.
eBay store. So the first way that I would make money was working for her in her eBay store. Funny story. whenever I like ever so often I wouldn't want to go to school, right? And so I'd say, Mommy, I'll list 20 items on your store, I'll list 10 items on your store if you let me stay home from school today. And my mom was chill and I didn't always ask. So she'd be like, yeah, okay, list these items, you can stay home from school today. So the first ways that I made money for myself, I sold on eBay because I grew up and I knew that was a way to make money. I would sell my old shoes, my old clothes, and things like that on eBay because my mom taught me how to do that. When I got older, other ways that I made money for myself, I told you guys the very first way I made money through my business was obviously YouTube paid me. Google AdSense started to come through. The biggest checks were always the first checks for for YouTube. So I was like, yes, I'm set for life. I don't gotta, but no, it trickles back.
Oh, wow.
So YouTube was the first way I made money besides eBay, and also doing a coaching doing a coaching session. So basically hopping on a Zoom call and talking to people for an hour, I could make $100 an hour, $125 an hour. And then another way that I made it in the very beginning was through selling digital products. So selling ebooks. I would make an ebook for my brand and someone would buy it. And it was only like $5, $10, but it was the first like money that I was making online. I'm like, yes, I've made it. I never have to work again. Obviously not the case, but when you start making money online, that's how you feel. You're like, I've cracked the code.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are the first ways that I started making money online.
Speaking of how Nija said that you think when you start making money off of content creation, you think like, oh my God, I finally did it. So now it's just like, I'm always going to get this check or it's just going to go up. No,
It's not
it
like that.
trickles back and then the stress starts setting in. So I think that leads to being stressed as an entrepreneur. We have one up there.
Yeah, dealing with the anxiety that comes with being an entrepreneur.
When I tell you my stress level right now, going back to me closing on the cabin. If you guys have seen the video, thank you so much. If you haven't, it's my 2 videos that I just posted, one last week and one today. I am dwindling down on the amount of money I have left because all that money I made was to just solely go into that investment. And now I'm sitting here, like I feel like I have more gray hair now because all I think about is you need to work so that you can feel better about you're not losing it. This isn't your last good month. And when you invest so much in yourself, and then after that, you just got to trust that your research was correct.
Yeah.
I am so stressed. And I had this comment on my YouTube channel that said, when is enough for you? I'm 28 years old, just getting started.
They tried it.
Yeah, they did.
When do you think like life is real here? Bills keep coming. They never stop. If anything, they go up and more and more and more. And then you got to like prepare for retirement. I'm only 28 years old. So the stress never stops. It never stops. And people with 9 to 5s, they're like stability, like Tiffany said, is comfortable. The money's always there, always coming in. And you could get fired if you were a horrible person.
Yep.
The company could tank, but that doesn't happen that often unless you really are messing up. So you lose sleep. I'm crying on the inside thinking about all the stress that because I'm leaving for Tennessee tomorrow to put more money into the property, and it's scary. So if you're not built for this life, if you can't discipline yourself, if you can't motivate yourself, everybody wants to quit their 9 to 5, but it's like, do you even get out of bed if anybody tells you not to? Like you have to be so disciplined. You don't get paid if you don't get up. So it is, I mean, I'm so stressed out right now. Like, to be honest, I could film another video crying because it's scary. It's not everything it's cracked up to be. It's awesome. It's exhilarating. It's promising. The future looks bright. But when you're in the moment, I would like to have a cry session right now.
I love a good cry session.
Yeah, me too. It's needed. It's definitely needed sometimes.
with it, the anxiety or pressure of being an
Yeah.
entrepreneur?
So obviously, I don't know if y'all can hear all the noise that's happening in my background. I hope not. But it's basically, um, as Jasmine said, it is a little different when you have a 9 to 5 and doing entrepreneurship because obviously there's a comfortability because you're like, I have a job. But at the same time, I've been let go from jobs before. And that's why I've always had multiple jobs and was like, I'm gonna have my own money, because it's like you can't rely on them. But I'm gonna say, the anxiety for me that comes with it is basically like I know that like entrepreneurship and doing my own having my own business is like it's all on me. And sometimes it's like if I like Jasmine said, if I don't get up, if I don't do something when I'm supposed to, if after I come home from work I don't feel like doing it, it's like it's all on you. Like it's no one's fault but your own. And I think that's the thing for me, just as a person that performs at a high level, I'm just really like, I don't want to let myself down. I'm the worst person I can let down because no one can ever say anything to me that'll hurt my feelings worse than me. I'm definitely one of those people. And so I think just feeling like I have a goal and not reaching it, and not in a way that's like I was trying and there was obstacles, but like from not trying or not hitting what I'm supposed to do, that is the anxiety comes with me because then it's just like, all right, if you don't get this, it's your fault. And that sucks to feel like. And just to feel like you didn't do what you were supposed to do. And that's the anxiety I usually have with it.
How did you feel when you got fired?
Um, Getting fired is always the worst. Because I've been let go one time and fired another time, and obviously it's the worst, especially when you feel like you are a great employee. And I would always say I'm a great employee. So, in both times, one time I wasn't when I was let go from a job, I wasn't even notified I was let go. I found out because I went to use my email, and it didn't work. But it's just being let go of is just like it feels like you don't matter and your value is like erased. You just don't feel like they care. So that's how that feels. And that's another reason why I think it's important that people seek things, businesses for themselves as well, because it's like you can control that. Like that's something you have full, complete control of. And like Jasmine and Nija said, like the amount that you get out is based off what you're putting in.
We have someone in the comments talking about Marcy's vids, Facebook Reels or Instagram Reels, and that how you guys should jump on that. They actually do Reels. They all try to get me into Reels, and I do understand the value into Reels. But YouTube, I'm sorry, Tiffany does Reels all the time. She's on TikTok. She does some beautiful Reels as well. So we are all in on the shorts and the Reels as content creators. I'm not as I should do it more
It
often,
gets more
but
engagement. I was gonna say, well, at least for me.
does.
I don't know if it's for other people, but my reels, my shorts,
Hmm.
TikTok, that stuff, the video content is like for some reason they're really favoring it. They really are
Yeah.
on social media.
I want to do those
Um,
motivational walk videos that you talked about. So me and Nigel have to have a content day.
So
But
I want to read this
yeah.
comment and then I'll
Okay.
tell you guys too how I deal with anxiety. So Udajuri says, I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs or self-employed people say that they will save 6 to 12 months of
Mm,
expenses so they can relax and focus on their business without having to figure out how to pay their bills. That is a very smart and
it
it's
is.
very generous, right? To say that it's very generous, right? Um, I say yeah, at least 6 months. Again, pretty generous. I did three
It's a
months.
lot.
I
Yeah.
felt comfortable with that, but do what makes you feel comfortable. Um, and that's all I wanted to say with that. What is going to make you feel the least amount of stress when you take that plunge?
Yeah.
How I deal with stress and anxiety through being an entrepreneur, with both the ladies said, it's all you. Like it's all
Yeah.
you. If you don't move, the business doesn't move. No one's
Yeah.
moving for you. It's you.
Facts.
You. So you have to learn how to, like Tiffany said, no one can say anything worse than what you would say to yourself, right? Like you're your biggest judge, you're your biggest
Yeah.
critic. So it's like literally the race is against you in the mirror. How bad do you want it? How hard are you gonna work? The biggest thing that I struggle with is sometimes I feel a lack of creativity, and I feel like this only
Mm,
happens when you don't love what you're doing.
mm,
Sometimes I'll
good
ask
point.
Jasmine, like, Jasmine, how do you do all these things? How are you getting all this done? She's like, well, I find what I do really exciting, and that's why I do it.
That's
So
awesome.
the good thing about entrepreneurship, because I know a lot of the ladies, and it's true, the truth of it is it's really hard, right? But there are a lot of beautiful aspects of it as
Yeah.
well. And so if you're doing what you genuinely truly love and really like, we get into entrepreneurship to free ourselves from doing things that we don't love. So I think the big thing is, what do you love to do? What would you do for free? What would you do if nobody told you to do it? Do that. And then eventually the money will come. How I deal with the stress and anxiety, like, you have to become your best friend. Um, and so I'm constantly journaling. I'm constantly meditating. Like, the path of entrepreneurship is literally like the path of self development. You'll notice a lot of entrepreneurs are into self help and self mastery because it really is a race against you in the mirror. How bad do you want it? How hard are you willing to work? How hard are you willing to push yourself? You have to be self motivated. It's not all shitty, it's not all terrible, but again, when you're not seeing the money, are you going to be self-deprecating and say, you're a piece of shit, you're the worst, I can't believe you did this, like, I hate my life, I hate this, I hate you, I hate my husband, I hate my wife, like, or are you going to be like, okay, I need to find another way to work this, what else can I do? Let's turn the picture around. What am I not seeing? Like, it literally is you and your business. It is, how bad do you want it? How hard are you going to push yourself? So it doesn't have to be terrible. If you
Yeah.
can find something to do that you love, that's worth stressing yourself out about, right? And I think that's the distinction between entrepreneurship and working the 9 to 5. In the 9 to 5, you're doing stuff that you really probably don't care about, but you're doing it to make money. The end justifies the means. And entrepreneurship, hopefully you're doing it because you love what you do, and as a result, the money is a byproduct of you doing a good job at what you do, at what you love.
I have input on that.
Let's
Oh,
hear
I
it.
do as well.
Tiffany,
Go. Yeah. Go ahead.
you
We might
you
have the
did
same thing. We might be about to say the
oh
same thing. Go ahead.
Ooh,
telepathic, but you let me know.
let's hear
Go
it.
ahead. I'll let you know.
I don't think it is though. You
Okay.
did music. You loved
Mhm.
music, but then you said you hated the music industry when you got into it. So my question for you
Mm.
is, and a lot of people say this, don't make your passion your job. What's your input for that? Because she is saying find something that you love to do,
Yeah.
but a lot of people say you start to hate it because now what's your
Yeah.
thoughts?
Okay, so it's partially what I was gonna talk about, but it's not. But I'll answer yours first, and then I'll try to remember what I was gonna say. So yeah, for a long time I was making music, and I still kind of do, but it was what I like wanted to do for a bit of time. Like I was like, I'm gonna make music. This is it, and I would say I was really good at it, especially for someone as young as I was, and I had basically I was doing everything. Like when it came to the music videos, I would talk to the director, I would cast the people, I would dress them, I would dress me, I'd make storyboards, like, and
Wow.
even when it came to the actual production of the music, I would get with the producer and be like, this should sound like this should be here. And at first they were kind of like, what? They're like, you're really young to be like telling us. But then they would be like, oh, it works. So it was like a really nice thing. And then performing, I loved performing, got paid lots of money to do it. And it was nice, but it did start to suck because when I first started, I didn't have any money, and I'm trying to pay people with what I didn't have, and that was a struggle. Then when I was working because when I first started working a 9 to 5, it was actually to fund the music, which is so funny how that's completely changed. But then when I finally got money, no one that I tried to pay would actually do the things that I asked them to.
Mm.
And that was very disappointing for me as a creative person that's trying to be creative and work the business. It's very hard to do, especially in that kind of industry. And it just became a thing of like, I was just so disappointed that I felt like I needed to learn how to edit. I needed to learn how to shoot. I was just trying to cut out every single person that I was working with so that I could do everything. And that it just became a whole mess. But so I think that was just really, really hard. And I think when it made me have to reevaluate what I really wanted out of it. Because it was hard. It was just really hard for me to deal with that. Something I was so passionate about and to feel like I was just getting so much slack about it. But the thing I was gonna say, what off of what Nija said, was about 9 to 5s, and I was going to speak to my personal self when it comes to the 9 to 5s that I pick now. Our job, and I always say this in the interviews, I only go for 9 to 5s that I feel like I will actually enjoy. Because I think I'm at a point in my life that I agree with Naja. I don't usually like working for people either. And so I tell them in every interview, they're like, why? So why this job? And I'll obviously say things about the company, but then I'll be like, I'm at a point in my life where I want to be able to come into work and actually enjoy what I'm doing. I don't want to put on a fake face, put on a mask, and act like I want to be here. So, and I've just always been like kind of honest about that, especially in the last few years. So I was gonna say that too. If you And even so, even though I do enjoy the jobs that I do now, I very much do, and they're very much along the lines of what I'm doing as an entrepreneur, it's still like I still do want that entrepreneurial side. I'm still feeding that. But I would say if you really have to work a 9 to 5, make sure you're picking something that you do kind of enjoy and want to be at, because otherwise you're not going to want to stay there.
I think my input, and we'll end it here as well, is I'm a big proponent. Maybe you might disagree.
Mhm.
I don't know if you do, so that's why I said you might have something to say.
Uh-huh.
I think you should make your passion your job. I
Well,
think you
yeah.
do. I think you should. And so many people are so against it because they're like, then you'll stop liking it. But the
Wait,
best,
you're saying you should or you
you
shouldn't?
He's saying you
should.
should.
Yeah.
But people say that you shouldn't because
You
now
could
it's a
stop liking
job. You're
it.
not going to like it anymore.
I
And
think it depends. I think it I think
I
it
think you should
really,
try.
you should try, but at the same, and sometimes you'll realize, just as a growing person, you might feel like this is not what I want to do. I thought it
Mm-hmm.
was. And I
Yeah.
think you have to realize that too. And it's okay to be like,
I'm
I
taking it
really
back.
wanted this and now
Mhm.
I don't.
Yep.
And
I'm
I'm,
taking it back.
yeah.
I
Mm.
love that. So,
And I want to say this too. First of all,
Mhm.
thank you to Drake, because I didn't get to thank you. Um, and I'll read your comment too. I agree with enjoying the job you're doing. Still can't wait until I don't have to work a 9 to 5 unless I choose.
Yeah.
Working for yourself and having your own business is true freedom, regardless of the hard work. Yes, I agree. And the thing that I would say is, again, I got to come from the spiritual perspective,
Yeah.
right? I'm all about the dream life embodiment, right? And I believe in the new earth, people are meant to make money, receive value, receive an energy exchange, which is all making money is, by utilizing their gifts and their talents, God given or created, to make money, right? So, again, in New Earth, if you're a great, talented singer and you love to do that, you can utilize that gift or that talent to make money. We all have been given gifts or talents at birth, or
Yeah.
we can create them, learn them along the way. But I feel like our mindset in the society that we're in right now, we've been conditioned to think that we have to sacrifice, we have to struggle, we have to do things we don't love to get our needs met. And that is not the truth. The more people who wake up to the fact that you can do what you love, you can live a life that you love, you can live a life that you enjoy and still be financially compensated, the more that we come online to this ideology, which is a natural thing of life. Look at the animals, right? The hummingbird, they do what's naturally to them, they get their needs met. The bees, they do what's naturally to them, they get their needs met. If we can see this naturally in nature, what is the difference between us? The only difference is we've been programmed to believe that we have to struggle, we have to suffer, we have to do these things to get our needs met. If you figure out how you offer value and you love it, you should be able to monetize it. You don't have to monetize it. And like Tiffany said, maybe you will try to monetize it and
Yeah.
realize, you know what, it's not fun to me to do it in this way anymore.
mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
But nevertheless, entrepreneurship should be about doing what you enjoy and buying back your freedom.
I
Yeah.
love that. And there's a
Yeah.
comment from Carter, and we'll end with Carter's comment is, I think people stop liking it when they have to do aspects that they don't like. Those parts
Very
should be
true.
delegated if possible. If you can
True.
delegate it, that's great. But please,
Agreed.
everyone, go into knowing with entrepreneurship, there's going to be shit you don't like to do in it. I don't like doing accountant. So I do delegate it. But at first I didn't. So entrepreneurship, like we said, is hard. There are going to be some things you don't like about it, but you're going to have to do those tasks in order to keep doing what you're doing. Life is not easy, and life is not fair, and life is not like some pretty rainbow all the time.
It's not.
At a 9 to 5 or in your entrepreneur journey.
Yeah.
So thank you, Carter, for that comment. Thank you guys for always being here and having some really good stories that kind of come together for this podcast. So remember, you guys, subscribe to the actual podcast channel, because we will not always be going live on my personal channel. It will be on the Let's Talk It Up podcast. And I have that linked in my comment section. I don't think the girls have it in their own. But yeah, thanks so much for coming. And we're going to start putting this on Anchor as well. So Spotify and all that. And I'll thrust out those links out there for you guys later. So thanks so much. I'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.